welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. If you've been around YouTube for a while, you might have seen this assumptions tag floating along where people ask their social media followers or ask for comments and ask about your assumptions about the YouTuber in question. Not that I'm a YouTuber, but still. And then they kind of react and say like, yes, that's true, or no, that's not true. I've seen a couple, and at first I was like, that's stupid, but I've come around and I got really curious because I just watched another one from my favorite Angie Belmar, and it was really interesting to see the questions that people asked her. So I asked on Instagram, if you are not following, it's at Becca.e.davis. Not Becca's Music Room unless you're a music teacher, because if you go follow me there and you don't interact with my content, then Instagram's gonna think you don't like me. So go to at Becca.e.davis. That's where we're gonna talk about TPT. And so go check out there and so that you can be included in future fun things. And we'll see what assumptions you have about me. So I'll just let you know if these are true or not. Some of them kind of go together. So once I answer something once, I might not answer it afterwards. Here's my Talia Walia. Get to it. Okay, so the first one is from Algebra Elevated, and it says you work 24/7. Not quite true. I am very, very productive and I work a lot, and because I work a lot, I have to be really intentional about making sure that I am not working 24/7, because it is very, very easy for me to work 24/7 because your girl is Enneagram number 1, which means I just want to do all the things and be productive all the time. But when I do that, then I get really stressed out. So I do not work 24/7. I am actually very intentional about making sure that I take time to stop working throughout the day, because otherwise I will just work all of the time if left to my own devices. So that's why I do a lot of things like reading and playing my cello and painting and even just like taking baths, going to the pool, like stuff like that, because it just makes sure that I am not working at 24/7. The second one is from Artful Ideas Classroom, and it says, you are the most responsible person in your friend group in high school. You know, I don't think any of them would be upset to hear that I would probably agree with that, or at least perspective wise, I seemed like the most responsible. We had 6 friends that used to hang out, and we all went to church together, so we all went to like different schools for the most part, but we all hung out all the time because we went to church together and we did like everything together. And I was the one that my friend Brian, he and I were super close forever. We've known each other since like 4th grade, and we still talk and everything. His mom would be really weird about him like being home at a certain time, like really, really early. And he'd be like, you know, hey, can I go this place? And she's like, no, you need to come home. It's whatever time. And then he'd be like, but Becca's gonna be there. And she's like, oh, that's fine then. And we had that all the time. Like, can I go to this party? Like, ooh, I don't know about a party. Becca's going, oh, well then that's fine. Yeah, so I would agree with that one. I have just always been old. I've always been old, and I feel old. Joyful Lessons says you're a time management queen. I hope so. I could definitely do better, but I hope so. Binky's Clipper says you're really fun to be around because your subtle sarcasm makes me chuckle. Well, I appreciate that. Glad somebody picks up on my subtle sarcasm. I'm not particularly funny, but I am very sarcastic, so you know, we've got that going for us. She also said you're an incredibly hardworking person. I try. I still never feel like I'm doing enough, but you know, we're working on it. Our Fire Life Budget said you graduated high school and college with a 4.0 GPA. Not quite. I mean, it was pretty high up there. It was like 3.8 or something. I had a couple of classes that I got B's in, like, oh my gosh, y'all. Oral Skills 3. That was the hardest class I've ever taken in my life. It was insane. It was insane. So not 100% perfect, but I'm pretty good. I tried really hard in school. Our Fire Life Budget also said your TPT job makes double your teaching salary. I'm gonna go with not true, because 1, every month is very, very different, and 2, it depends on what you're looking at. So I don't get to keep all of the money that my shop makes because I have to pay taxes and I reinvest back into my business. And all of these things mean that I don't take home all of the money that I share with you. So I've shared before how I like manage my money. I've changed it a little bit since then, so I might do an updated video. If you're interested in that, let me know below. But that being said, I basically take home half of what I make in TPT, which is still really, really good at the moment, but it's definitely not double my teaching salary. It has matched my teaching salary for the last couple of months, which is really exciting. Not June, because I've made like hardly anything in June because it's June. But for most of the last few months, I have been paying myself my salary or more, which has been amazing, and I am just so incredibly grateful. So if you're counting how much my TPT shop makes, yes, there have been months that I have made twice as much as my teaching salary. However, I'm only counting what I'm actually bringing home. So like it all goes into my business account and then I transfer money to my personal account, and that is what we actually use to like pay rent and, you know, all that kind of fun stuff. Well, we have, I'll take that back. We have done some fun stuff. Like we went to Jekyll Island on vacation, and I paid for that like completely out of money that I got from TPT. We're going to Disney, and I'm paying for pretty much all of that with stuff from TPT. And so like we've done fun things, but I'm very responsible with my money is what we do. Zoe did that tutoring says you have it all together and are just pretty awesome. I think my husband would beg to differ about the having it all together. I feel like I always feel like a mess, really. I mean, half the time it's just like me sitting in my office in sweatpants being a mess, but I'll appreciate you're pretty awesome. Thank you. Erin said you're a very spiritual person in general. Yeah, I guess so. I definitely love Jesus. I try my best to do all the things that he tells us to do. You know, I'm not the most spiritual person you'll ever meet, but I am, you know, I try, I do my best, I read my Bible, and I work hard on all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll go with that. The tasty teacher said you are constantly working. How do you find time to relax? I do not find time to relax. I have to make time to relax. I want you to shift your thinking in that, because you will never ever ever find time for anything in life, but you will be able to make time for important things. So I have to structure my days to keep me from working all the time. So I sit down and I will think out like, okay, I'm gonna work from this time to this time, and I'm gonna take a break here. During the school year, I work in the morning, I go to school, I come home, and I always have to structure my afternoons so that I have a break. So usually I'll take a break for about an hour, maybe work another hour or two, have dinner, and I try my hardest not to work after dinner unless I just really need to like stay on schedule. It's not like a hard and fast rule, but I try my best. I try not to work over the whole weekend. Usually I'll work like one day over the weekend, but I try not to make it both days over the weekend. I try to have one day where I completely don't work. In the summer, it's actually harder. I thought it would be easier to find time to relax. It's actually harder because I'm like, oh, I can do all the things, but I can't. And so I have had to really, again, intentionally be like, okay, at this time I'm gonna go and play tennis, so I have to stop working. Or at this time I'm gonna go to the pool and I'm gonna spend a couple hours there and chill out and read. And then when I come back, I can do more work, because I will, like, I mean, seriously, yesterday we got a tropical storm and we're fine, but it was disgusting outside, so I didn't want to leave the house because it was all, you know, gross and raining. I didn't want to, you know, play tennis or go to the pool or any of that kind of stuff. So I just worked all day long, all day. I stopped whenever my husband got home for dinner, and I didn't even make dinner, he picked it up. And so like I will do that. And so if I am not careful, that is what happens. And I did that on purpose because we're going on vacation, so it's like, you know, let's work a little bit more so that I will be able to prep for vacation and stuff. But my point being, you will never ever find time either for TPT or find time to rest or find time to read or find time for anything in life, you have to make the time for it. I'm seriously thinking about writing a book about time management, but also I'm like, you really don't need to write a book right now. So that's where I currently am. But I want you to shift your thinking and like, I'm not finding time for things, I'm making time for things that are important. Because if it's important, you need to make the time for it or it's not gonna happen, and then you're gonna get 6 months of the year and be like, oh crap, I haven't done anything. So if it's important, you gotta keep on it and you need to make the time for it. I also will say that when I relax, I actually try to like relax. So like I'm at the pool or I'm, you know, taking a bath or I'm reading a book or I'm taking a bike ride or things like that where I can't work. And so it's like you're not even tempted because it's just not even possible. Because I find that if you're kind of in that in between, like if I'm sitting on the couch, we're watching TV, but I'm also like doing Pinterest, then I don't feel relaxed at the end. I feel like I've been working, but I wasn't really working. And so it's like this weird in between ground, which is sometimes fine. But my point being, when you relax, you need to actually relax. When you work, you need to actually work. So the last two are really assumptions. Kid Equip New Zealand said you're awesome. Thank you. And Relate to Educate said you've got it all together, which we have already said. No, I am a disaster. I'm just a very organized and planned out disaster. That's so funny. I just think it's so funny that y'all think I've got everything together when I'm like, I feel like a mess, but I get things done. So I guess that's more what you're talking about. So that was a really interesting experiment. I didn't see anything too out there, which tells me that I've done a pretty good job about relaying who I really am to you. So I appreciate all of your assumptions. You can go follow me on Instagram at Becca.e.davis if you want to be included in any future fun videos. That's also where we do like Q&As and stuff like that. So go find me over there and I'll see you guys next time.